Let's transport ourselves to September 2024. It dawned on me that it would be a fabulous idea to create another Regency gown for my mom for a Jane Austen Festival. Welcome to another challenge to complete a Regency dress in 2 days or 4 evenings. Will I fail or will I succeed? The only way to tell is by watching. Oh, I remember when it was September. Oh, I remember when things were sort of better. Let's watch what actually happened previously in Elsie's mind. Time travel, time travel. Oh, we are in the past. I did it. We're in the past. You know what would be a wonderful idea? I should make my mom a Regency gown. I really want her to be with me on the promenade and not just being told off that she can't be a part of promenade just because she's not in a Regency dress. And by the way, because I can time travel, this did happen to other people because they came in cottagecore aesthetics, but not in actual Regency gowns. In vain, I have struggled to cut the pattern pieces with this rotary cutter. This was the time when I said enough is enough and no more of this rotary cutter. Wonderfully, we also went to Hobbycraft with my mom to purchase this fabric, and also there I got myself proper scissors. So the way we chose this fabric is by looking around to what would be the most Regency appropriate and also figuring out whether these things that we really loved are going to be enough. Now, this was the only fabric that was pretty lovely with plants and also had enough yardage. I have sewn the straps to the bodice and then I started sewing the back of the bodice with my lovely brother sewing machine. Now, because I was sewing this in summer, I also called it brat summer because in Russian, brother means brat. So this was my brat summer for you. The bodice front had 2 darts that I carefully sewn. I also marked the position of the darts with my invisible ink. I think they turned out fantabulous. Now that everything was sewn together, I have pressed all the seams and cut out all the unnecessary amount of seam allowances. Not forgetting to pin everything in place so that nothing will ride and I won't make any mistakes. I tried to go slow but also fast with this project because I only had 4 days. The bodice is now finished. The mistake number 1 that I did is I used this twill tape to bind neckline. I did not want to do any lining for this bodice because I was like, I don't have enough time. And instead I used this twill tape. Now that was a mistake because it was too bulky. I created a small channel by folding twice to then insert a cord that I can then use to tighten the front of the bodice. Another mistake, the cord was too thick, but this is the only thing that I had. So I've used blunt needle and I inserted it through the channel from both sides. Then I have sewn them. To hide the raw edges of the bodice on both sides, I have folded the fabric twice, similarly to how I created the channel. Then I have sewn it with my sewing machine because I didn't have time to hand sew it so that it wasn't visible. This is how the twill tape looks, and I am not very happy with it because, as you can see, it was very bulky. Even though I was at the time cheese crunch, I still had time to shoot some very cinematic shots of me cutting skirt panels. Please enjoy the footage of me cutting with my new acquired scissors. Oh, it cuts like butter. I am so in love. And this is such a game changer to the rotary cutter because I was struggling. I have been cutting all of these on my floor because this is the best place where I could cut everything. I'm going out of order. I'm working on the sleeves now. I am sewing the gathering stitch at the top of the sleeves because that was fashionable at the time. You would have a very tight gather at the top. I'm also sewing gathering stitches at the elbow because that was also fashionable during the Regency period. And this is all the gathering stitches they are. There's a lot of gathering. It's a quite long sleeve. And I did the same to the second sleeve. This is an interesting part because for my first Regency gown, I didn't gather it as much, but because my mom had shorter arm length, I didn't want to shorten the sleeves actually because I wanted to wear it myself in the future. So what I did, I just gathered it a lot more at the elbow, and this is how I did it. So I just made sure that all the gathers were the same on one side and on the other side. I have also measured it with ruler to make sure that they were the same size. For the gathering stitches not to come apart, I have also knotted all of the thread. Carefully pinning the gathering, especially because this is where I'm gonna be sewing it the most. I did not want the gathers to unravel or to come apart or to move anywhere, so I have pinned a lot of pins. I have also continued pinning the whole sleeve, and I have then sewn everything together very carefully, making sure that when I come to the area where it was bulkier, I went a bit slower. I have repeated the same steps to the second sleeve, and then I have proceeded to do some knife pleats on the skirt. Now, to create the knife pleats, I have marked all of the measurements as per the instructions, and then I have continued cut a vent around 12.5 inches because this is going to be an apron front, so that means we need some vents on the sides of the bodice. Then where the vent opening is, I have stitched a zigzag stitch. I have folded the raw edges of the vent twice to encase the raw edges, and then I have sewn it. We're back at the sleeves. I have measured my mom's arm length and then I folded the fabric to the amount I wanted it. I have also asked her to felt stitch this instead because I wanted to continue sewing something else. So I just folded it myself and then I gave my mom to hand sew it. It is time for the moment that I dread all the time when it comes to sewing. It is inserting the sleeves. Now, historical sleeve insertion is slightly different to modern sleeve insertion, but because I don't know how to do modern sleeve insertions, I only know historical. I've done it once, actually maybe twice, because I had to redo it. This time I was very careful to pin everything correctly. Oh my god, I actually decided to go and not hand sew it, but machine sew it. I have a very sacred rule in my sewing that I do not machine sew sleeves. But this time I had a very scrunchy time and I was like, okay, I'm gonna be super careful. making sure that the gathers at the top of the sleeves are similarly located for both sleeves. Before I go sewing, because this is not a sewn sleeve, I wanted to appreciate how well I have inserted the sleeve. I'm also checking that the gathers at the top of the sleeve are looking nice, correct. Then I'm gonna do the same thing to the second sleeve and then sew everything together. Now this is the step that I was very much dreading, but I was like, I need to do it. Now let me tell you how I did it. I don't know, but I have made sure that I have pinned a lot, and you can see I have a lot of pins. I made sure that there is no fabric being caught anywhere. I can proudly say that I have inserted the sleeve correctly. From the sleeve insertion, we are jumping into knife pleats. And this is how I did my knife pleats. Then I have stitched everything together. After figuring out knife pleats, I have made sure that all the skirt panels are connected, and then I proceeded to sew them. The side panels of the skirt is inserted. Now I am inserting the front panel, which is the bib front, and then I am pinning everything together. Now that the skirt is finished, I have pinned the bodice, then I am carefully stitching it to the skirt. The final piece that I needed to insert was the bib front of the bodice, and this one is being connected to the front skirt panel. Because I was very excited to create another Regency gown in such a short period of time, I wanted to wear and try it out myself. The final piece that I was cutting out were ties to tie the bib front, and this one I have cut from the leftover fabric that I had. I did not have a lot of fabric left, and this was one of my last pieces. I really like this project because I have used the most of fabric and I don't have a lot of leftovers, only for mending. Hush hush, don't tell anyone, there will be another thing coming up about this dress. There were a couple of things that I needed to do in addition to sewing this dress, and it was also fixing things that I have sewn previously. I wanted to actually cut a lot of this dirty hem from my petticoat because I wanted to wear it, and it was A, too long, I knew it, and B, was super dirty. I wanted to hem this petticoat again, so I have cut the old hem that was super dirty. It was a wonderful thing that I didn't even have to clean it. I just had to cut it out. A second thing that I wanted to do, hem all the raw seams that I had. Because this petticoat is super lightweight and this fabric is very lightweight, it frays a lot. To do this, I have cut one of the seam allowances shorter than the other, and then I have encased the shorter seam allowance with the larger seam allowance, folding it twice, and then I have stitched everything with the sewing machine, kind of creating the stitch that you have at jeans. I really loved how it turned out because now when I would be walking with my petticoat, it is not going to slowly unravel. Now finally, because we're jumping from one thing to another, I am sewing the straps together and then I'm sewing them to the main dress. The final thing that is left is for me to hem this gown, and to hem it, I have asked my mom to wear it because I'm gonna hem it to her height. And then what I did, I have pinned everything together, I have taken it off her, and then I am kind of trying to fix all of my little pins, making sure that it is around an inch folded twice, and then I'm going to machine stitch it because no, we do not have time to do historical stitches here when we only have 2 days to sew this gown. I'm sorry, but the last gown that I have sewn took me a whole month to create, where this one only took me 2 days. I am too proud of myself. I am very confused on how this happened, but I was super motivated. I guess it was super hot, but I still did it because I wanted my mom to be there with me and to experience her favorite novel, and for her to be a part of it because she's been watching Pride and Prejudice with me. Actually, she introduced me to Pride and Prejudice when I was a little girl, so I am very thankful for her because she was the person that did this. So thank you, Mom. I love you so much. You know, you are the reason I started creating these things. You motivated me. In the evening of the last day, I am also hemming my petticoat, as I said, because I have cut it, but I was kind of putting it off because it was the last thing, but I didn't want to do it because it was a bit lengthy. I have to fold everything by myself because I did not have a rolled hem foot, so I did it myself. Still can't believe it that I was able to sew another Regency dress in less than 4 days. If you counted all of the hours, it was only 2 days. This is crazy. I created a new dress in 2 days, and the previous Regency gown was made in a month. How different is that? I think it's just a very steep learning curve. So yeah, this was me from the future, and I did indeed recreate a Regency gown for my mom. I think it turned out fabulous. Shall we look at it? Hope you liked this video, and I will see you in my next one. But first, we need to go back to future Elsie so that she can share some stuff with you. And I shall farewell to you goodbye with one of my projects that you might eventually see on this channel. Time travel! When I decided I lost a thread in the past. Oh, I remember when it was September. Oh, I remember when it was not December, though it can rhyme. If you want to join me in more of this type of content, you can watch something that you might like right here. And if you want to support me further, you can always subscribe. And I will see you, as always, in my next one. And also, wear fantabulous sleeves.